You press the power button. The screen goes black. Silence. So, is your phone actually off? Or is it just playing dead? Because here's the weird truth. Turning a phone off is not always the same as turning it empty. And once you see what off really means in modern phones, you will never look at that black screen the same way again. Let's open a few loops. When you shut down your phone, what parts actually stop? Can it still be tracked, or pinged, or woken up? Why do some phones still respond to "Find my features after they are off"? And if you are worried about privacy, what is the simplest way to make a phone truly go quiet? All right, let's pop the hood without the screwdriver. When you turn off a phone, you are not flipping one big master switch. You are asking the phone's operating system, iOS or Android, to perform a shutdown sequence. Think of your phone like a building at night. Turning it off is like telling the office workers to go home, turning off the lights, locking the doors, and leaving a small security crew in the basement with a radio. Most of the building goes dark, but not always all of it. Because a smartphone is not one brain, it is a committee. The phone is not one computer. Inside your phone are multiple processors, each with different jobs. The main processor runs your apps and your operating system. The cellular modem, often called the baseband, handles mobile network communication. The Wi-Fi and Bluetooth chips talk to nearby devices. The secure element and secure enclave store cryptographic keys for things like biometrics and payment. The power management chip decides who gets electricity, when, and how much. So when you press power off, your phone is basically saying, main processor, shut down, apps, stop, screen, off, storage, park safely. But the real question is, who still gets power after that? And that depends on the phone and the features you have enabled. First, what off definitely does. For most phones, a proper shutdown does a few reliable things. It stops your apps. It stops your notifications. It stops your normal background activity. It stops your screen, microphones, and cameras from running in the usual app-driven way. Your phone becomes a slab. But here's the clever part. A phone can be off to you, while certain low-level components still have the ability to do very small, very specific tasks. Not run TikTok. More like this. Listen for a special Bluetooth beacon. Maintain a tiny encrypted state. Respond to a hardware event. The difference is huge, and it creates the mystery people describe. I swear my phone is never really off. Sometimes, that suspicion has a reason. The Find My twist. Here's the micro twist. Some modern phones can still participate in device-finding networks, even after they appear powered down. Not by turning on fully, but by leaving a tiny, low-power signal capability alive for a period of time, usually through Bluetooth, so other nearby devices can detect it and relay a location. It is like your phone, off, is still whispering. If anyone you trust walks by, tell them where I am. That feature is designed for theft recovery and lost phones. But it also means off can sometimes behave like mostly off, with one exception. And that exception is carefully limited, but it exists. Which leads to a natural question. If a phone can whisper when it is off, what else could it do? Myth versus reality, number 1. Myth. If the screen is black, the phone is dead. Reality. The screen is just one component. A phone can be dark and still have power in small subsystems. Now, before this spirals into paranoia, most of these still alive features are intentionally narrow. They are not designed to record you while shut down. They are designed to do a tiny job with tiny power. Still, the fact that the boundary between on and off has gotten fuzzier is real. And there is an even bigger twist. Sometimes off is not the same as off, because you did not actually shut down. The sleep trap, locked versus off. Many people press the side button once, the screen goes black, and they say it is off. But that is not off. That is sleep. That is your phone standing perfectly still, eyes closed, but fully awake inside. In sleep mode, your phone can still receive messages, fetch emails, sync photos, update apps, run location services, connect to Wi-Fi, talk to Bluetooth accessories, and yes, be tracked normally. Sleep is a pause. Shutdown is a stop. So if you want to test the difference, imagine this. Sleep is like putting a laptop lid down. Shutdown is like pulling the plug after the computer finishes closing its files. But even shutdown is not always the same as pulling the plug. Because you are not pulling a plug, you are requesting a managed shutdown through software. And software can be complicated. The question is, can it be turned on remotely? Let us answer a common fear directly. Can someone turn your phone on remotely while it is shut down? For the average person with a normal, up-to-date phone, that is not how phones are designed to work. A true shutdown usually cuts off the main operating system and anything that would run your apps. Remote wake features typically require the phone to be in a low power, on state, like sleep, and not fully shut down. However, and this matters, phones are still computers. If there is a vulnerability at a deep level, for example in firmware, the modem, or the power controller, unexpected behavior can happen. That is not the everyday scenario. But it is the technical reason people say that, in theory, the deepest layers matter. So let us zoom into the key player most people never think about: the modem. The cellular modem, the phone's second brain. Your main processor is what you think of as the phone. The modem is what the cell towers think of as the phone. The modem is a specialized system, complex and proprietary, and extremely powerful within its lane, connecting to the network. In normal use, the operating system and modem cooperate. But they're not the same. So when your phone shuts down, the modem is supposed to shut down too. But features like Find My over Bluetooth are not the modem. They're more like a tiny beacon system. And in some cases, certain very low-level functions can still be powered in a tightly controlled way. Not enough to use the internet, but enough to leave people with that unsettling feeling. Something is still on, which explains why. When you want maximum privacy, your goal is not just a dark screen. Your goal is to have all radios quiet. Airplane mode, the misunderstood button. Now here is a twist that confuses almost everyone. Airplane mode sounds like the ultimate off, but it is actually an on mode with rules. Airplane mode usually turns off the cellular connection and may disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But you can often turn Wi-Fi and Bluetooth back on manually while you remain in airplane mode. So airplane mode can mean no cellular, but Wi-Fi still chatting. Wi-Fi off, but Bluetooth still pinging headphones. Everything off unless something toggles back. It is a convenience mode, not a fortress. Useful, but not absolute. Myth versus reality number 2. Myth: airplane mode means zero tracking. Reality: airplane mode mainly blocks cellular. Other connections and sensors can still work depending on settings. So what does truly off mean? It means powered down. No radios broadcasting. No subsystems active. No power, period. And the only way to guarantee that in a consumer device is to remove the power source. On older phones, you could pull the battery. On modern sealed phones, you cannot. So we use practical approximations. What truly off looks like to the battery. One more quick mechanism, because it explains a lot. Even when off, some phones can slowly lose battery. People notice this and say it was not really off, but some battery loss can happen even without meaningful activity. Because batteries and power circuits are not perfect, and some devices keep tiny low-energy states. What matters is not whether any power is used. What matters is whether the phone is capable of doing meaningful communication or computation. Most of the time, after a real shutdown, that capability is drastically reduced. But drastically reduced is not the same as absolutely zero. And that is the modern reality. Real-life impact. Why this matters in 2026. This fuzzy off shows up in everyday moments. You turn off your phone to focus, but your smartwatch still tries to connect. You power down before bed, but your location history looks oddly continuous. You switch off for privacy, but device finding still works by design. And then there is the big modern factor. Phones are not just phones anymore. They are your keys, your wallet, your ID, your health tracker, your work badge, your authentication device. So companies want your phone to be recoverable when lost. They want it to keep important security states safe. They want it to resist thieves. And that pushes design toward off, but not helpless, which is great until you are the person who needs off to mean silent. So what can you do? Let's turn this into practical takeaways. Practical takeaways, choices not commandments. If your goal is just saving battery or reducing distraction, use Sleep Plus Do Not Disturb. It keeps convenience while cutting noise. If your goal is to reduce connections, turn on airplane mode, then check Wi-Fi and Bluetooth toggles. Make sure the radios you do not want are actually off. If your goal is to be as close to truly off as possible, do a full shutdown, not just a screen off. Hold the power combo and choose power off, not lock screen. If your goal is to minimize tracking features you do not need, review device finding settings. If you do not want the off but findable behavior, see whether your phone allows disabling participation in those networks. If your goal is maximum privacy during a specific moment, create distance. No trick here, a powered device, even in low power states, cannot communicate well if it is far away from networks and other devices. Sometimes the simplest move is to put it in another room. And for the long game, keep your phone updated. Many of the scary in theory scenarios depend on old vulnerabilities. Updates close doors. So, is your phone really off when you turn it off? Most of what makes up your digital life, your apps, your screen, your daily routine, goes dark. But modern phones are built like buildings, with a basement security crew. Sometimes, even when the lights are out, something small is still listening. And once you know that, you can choose what off means for you, a pause, a shutdown, or true quiet. Because the power button isn't just a button anymore, it's a negotiation.